Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. If you can hear me, just say good morning or say hi in the chat box. I really want to interact with everyone today.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning. All right. So without further ado, we're going to head right into the session. Like I said earlier when I introduced when I spoke to everyone, addressed everyone, I said that the speaker is already here. But before we dive into the session, again, my name is Tiem Tawo. I'm the programs lead here at Cyberspace Foundation, and I'll be moderator for today's event. All right. If you're interested, if you're excited, and you're ready to get your CV powered up, for success, just say I'm ready in the chat box. Let's get the energy going. Just say I'm ready. All right. I see the messages coming in. Good. That's the enthusiasm we need for today's session. Right. And the only way to get the best out of today's session is, aside waiting for the recording or whenever it's sent out, just get a notepad, get your pen. There's no better way to take notes. Just write out, because Daniel will be dropping nuggets all through the session. You don't want to miss out on anything. Just get ready with your notepad, your pen. If you'd rather use your phone, get your mobile device close by and get ready to take notes. All right, so I'm just going to tell you a little about Mr. Daniel. So Daniel Emaneho, I really hope I got the pronunciation of his name right this time, is a development professional and learning expert with product management and a project management specialist as well. His work contributes broadly to designing, managing, and implementing projects that support youth transitions, human capital development, entrepreneurship, and sustainable development in Africa. He's currently the program manager, Higher Education, British Council, where he leads the implementation of the Innovation for African Universities program designed to increase the capacity of African universities to improve institutional and student outcomes. He is also responsible for managing the delivery of country-level HE-related activities and providing oversight and management to all international education-related work in Nigeria. Prior to this, Daniel led the learning team at Jobberman to design learning and job readiness strategies to provide employability skills and job opportunities to over 200,000 young Nigerians in the MasterCard Foundation-funded Young African Works program. Wow, okay. In the last 4 years, Daniel's work has supported project management, program evaluation, stakeholders and training, stakeholders management, curriculum development, and training in collaboration with development partners such as City Foundation, MasterCard Foundation, British Council, SNEPCO, Ford Foundation, Hewlett Packard Foundation, Leap Africa, and this has happened across Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Malawi, Ethiopia, and Uganda. He has also facilitated training experiences on soft skills, organizational effectiveness, competencies, entrepreneurship, and employability to over 300,000 individuals across Africa. Daniel holds a BSc, a senior executive certificate in nonprofit leadership management from the Lagos Business School, and a professional certificate in international development from the European School for Leadership Development. He is also a global shaper of the World Economic Forum. So with so much excitement, let's just welcome Daniel. You can hear from, he's an extreme, yes, I'm reading this from the chat box. He's an extreme expert. Yes, he is not just any kind of person. He is, you can receive from his profile. It's mind blowing to have him here with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Daniel. All right. Hi, Daniel.
Yeah, good evening.
I'm fine. It's great to have you here. You can already see there's so much excitement going on in the chat section. Everyone is excited to have you come speak to us. I really can't wait to hear all that you have to share. I'm with my notepad as well. I'm ready to take notes. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll just let you head into your session.
All right, good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're doing good. Tell me where you're joining from. If you're in your living room, say living room, Nigeria, bedroom, Kenya, I'm on the road, Rwanda. Let me know where you're joining in from. Let me know where you're joining in from. All right, let me know exactly where you're joining in from. What location you're in. What location are you in? Let me know, let me know, let me know, let me know. I'm waiting. All right. So a lot of people are in their bedroom and living room. Nobody's in the kitchen. Nobody is cooking. At least nobody's in the toilet. Somebody's in the bush bar. Are you eating bush meat? Let me see. South Africa, Ghana, Asante Sana, Caribou. That's the only Kenyan I know. Living room, Nigeria. Fantastic. All right. Without further ado, welcome everyone to this session. So I don't want to waste your time. I know today's Saturday. A lot of us want to go and relax, and have fun and do one thing or the other. So I'm just going to be as brief as possible. Just give me a minute and I'll be back shortly.
All right. While we await Daniel joining us again. All right. Okay, Daniel, you're back. That was quick. All right.
All right. I just finished. All right. So we're here to learn about Power Up Your CV, and I will start the session very quickly. Then we'll go into a practical section. Then I'll take your session and I'll take your question. All right. So that's how I'll do it. So I'll first do. I'm not going to share slides. So if you have a pen and paper, let's go to your right. Because I feel, I think it's more. I'll just share some of my notes I put down here. Secondly, we'll then take questions, and then we'll go into a practical session of this class. But very quick, what I want to know, from an overview, what would you like to learn? What would you like to learn in today's session? Just put it in the comment section below. What would you like to learn in today's section, in today's class? What's if you look at your CV now? I know many of you're not proud of your CV. So if you look at your CV now, what is the one thing you want to change? What is the one thing you want to do? What do you want to get out from this class so that I can speak to that? Okay, I see CV optimization, how to format my CV, what to include needs. Okay, how to tailor my CV to my dream job, how to make my CV pop out. Best form of CV for IT enthusiasts, fantastic. How to make powerful CV without any experience, how to get a killer, attractive CV, fantastic. So a lot of how-tos, a lot of, okay, I see one interesting one here. I want to learn how to put up my CV coming from a different background and pivoting into cybersecurity. Okay. I like to learn how to write a professional CV to attract employers, how to power up my CV, how to optimize my CV. Fantastic. All right. So I see a lot of how-tos, but let me pick out one. If I do not have a lot of achievements, what other things can I highlight? Beautiful. I think those are some of the things I like to best templates and everything. All right, fantastic. All right, let's get down. So I'll start with 7 things you must know when writing your CV. So all right, so I know there's some jackies I'll put it in the chat section. So please help me there. 7 things you must note when writing your CV. Seven things to note when writing your CV. All right, 7 things to know when writing your CV. So number 1 point I'm going to share is number 1, tailor your CV to the job you're applying for. All right, tailor your CV to the job you're applying for. And what do I mean by tailor your CV to the job you're applying for? It means you should not have only one CV. For every job you apply for, you must tweak your CV to fit that job. All right, you must tweak your CVs to fit that job. For every job you apply for, you must tweak your CV to fit that job. So I'm going to share my screen to show you some of the jobs, that I believe are in line with cybersecurity, and tell you what I mean by tweaking your CV to fit that job. All right, for every job you apply for. A lot of times people have a customer care representative kind of CV and are using it to apply for a cybersecurity role. You're not going to get a job. You cannot use a finance kind of CV to apply for a program manager kind of job. You're not going to get that job, all right? So your CV must show that you're interested and you have an interesting profile to meet that job. Now, someone will ask me, how do I tweak my CV to a job description? So take note of this. So under number one, please ensure your mic is muted, right? So number one, put another column under. How do you tweak your CV to job you're applying for? So I hear someone saying, so what do I tweak? What do I tweak? What do I change? What do I do? Number two is use keywords. Use keywords as seen in the job description. Use those keywords in your CV. Use those keywords in your CV, all right? So number one, I said tweak your CV to the job you're applying for. And number two, I said use keywords as seen in the description in your CV. Use keywords as seen in the description in your CV. So if the job description is saying that you're looking for people with knowledge of a particular tool, let's say they're looking for expert in Wireshark, in Linux, in Active Directory, in scripting, in Python, and you know what, you have to use these keywords. You cannot say you're a cybersecurity expert and you're applying for a job in cybersecurity and there's no word like cyber or secure or security, or you're applying for a job on data analysis. There's no word like data, like analysis, like Excel, like SQL. Those keywords are not found in your CV. You're not going to stand a chance of getting that job, all right? And why is this very important? Number three is that most organizations use a screening software called ATS, especially for a large-scale recruitment exercise where they know a lot of people are going to apply for jobs. It's not a senior role, for instance, and they know a lot of people are going to apply for that job. What most organizations do is that they use an it's called ATS, applicant tracking system. All right, applicant tracking system, ATS. And what is very important you must note is that you must ensure, now listen to this, you must ensure that your CV is ATS compliant. And how do you ensure that your CV is ATS compliant? Is by using the right templates, using the right fonts, using the right words in your CV. So let me give a simple example. Let's say an ATS is like a funnel, all right? It's like a funnel. And I put, okay, let me use this example. Let's say this is a funnel, makeshift funnel, right? And I put out a job application for cybersecurity analyst in my company. 1,000 people apply. I cannot read through 1,000 CVs. So all the 1,000 CVs are at this point, all right? How do I get, and then let's say I want to invite 20 for an interview. How do I streamline 1,000 CVs to 20? The first thing I'll look is that I'll look at my job description and say, what did I want in my job description? I wanted somebody who has data analysis, for example, someone who experienced in data analysis. All right, I'll tell the screening software, filter CVs that have the word or the term data analysis, or has the term SQL, or has the term, give me an example of something in the cybersecurity ecosystem. All right, so I can say filter CVs that have those things, and it filters 1,000 to say 500. Fantastic. I could say, okay, filter the CVs to, people who have these experiences, 2 years experience or 1 year experience in this. So that's how the screening software filters out your CV. It gets to the point where they want to call people for an aptitude test or for an interview. So it's very, very important that you understand this fact, all right, when writing your CV, that your CV might go through a screening software called the Applicant Tracking System, ATS. All right, and most organizations use it. From the place I used to work for, they recruit a lot for organizations, and they use that software a lot. And you see a lot of times it doesn't go through. Now, what are some of the things that don't make people's CVs go through that ATS? Number one is, and how many of you here, your CV is like a graphics design? It has blue, it's fine, it's fancy. Yes, your name is on the left. Your experience is on the right. You know, your picture is there. How many of your CVs are like that? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Nobody's looking. Nobody's looking at you. You know, all those CVs are not necessarily professional. As much as possible, you want to avoid CVs like that. All right. Now it looks good, it looks okay. Once you need to realize that there are no out of fast rules to this thing. It may work, you know, a recruiter may see it and call you for a job, all right, but it's best to be on the safe side, all right. So it's very important that you realize this thing, all right, and you number one, avoid using those kind of templates. Avoid using this kind of templates. You want a simple template from top to down, your name and all those information stated, all right. Very, very important. Number two, many of us, your CV has this kind of fonts that you use for children flyer. You know this kind of fonts, all those scripted fonts. You know, you want to make it look Comic Sans. That's the name of all those fonts. All right. You want to avoid using fonts like that. All right. Okay, please stay muted. Ensure your mic is muted. All right. You want to avoid using fonts like that. Okay, all those cartoonish kind of fonts. You want to avoid that. Those things, if a recruiter is looking at those things, shows you're not serious. All right. So I've said a lot. What have I said? I've said number one, tailor your CV to the job you're applying for by using keywords as seen in the job description in your CV. I've also said you should have an ATS compliant CV, which is don't use all those graphical templates and do use all those kind of fonts that doesn't really, sell and that is very difficult to read. All right. Now, another thing you should take note of, I'm going to just be sharing a lot before we go into the practice session and I show you what I mean. Another thing you must note in your CV is that when you're writing your experiences, do not start your sentences with "I was responsible for." Do not start your sentences with personal pronouns. You see some post CV, they write, "I was responsible for carrying files. I was responsible for monitoring the data. I was responsible for analyzing the requirements." You are not a criminal that's always responsible for something. Hello? You want to start your responsibilities with action words. Somebody say action words in the comment section. Somebody say action words in the comment section. You want to start your experiences using action words. You want to start your experiences using action words. Come on, I'm waiting. Somebody say action words in the comment section. Action words. Fantastic. Now, what are action words? Action words are things that showed what you did, not what your responsibilities are. All right? Because it's assumed that if you worked in an organization for 1 year, you should have a list of things that you accomplished. All right? So you want action words makes your experiences show accomplishments rather than responsibilities. So if you say I initiated, or you say something, you write something like I analyze data. That doesn't say anything. Anybody can analyze data. All right. You want to show a certain level of achievement. Am I communicating, guys? All right. And those words are words like maintained, initiated, led. All right. If you just take a quick Google search and write action words, you're going to see quite a lot of them. All right. Action words, you're going to see quite a lot of them. Initiated, demonstrated. These things show what you've done, and it makes it sound like the past, past present tense. All right, something like that. Let me put one up for you to see. All right. Action words, action words, action words. So always start your experiences using action words. Are we together? Very important. So somebody write down one of your experiences in the chat section. Let's take a practical example and see how that can be converted to an action word. All right. Now these are examples of action words. You can take a screenshot, or you can just go on Google and write action words CV. If you've worked with others, you can use advised, aided, assisted, shared, coached. All right. You know, you can use all those words. Look at this. Administered, authorized, measured, monitored. You want to ensure that you're not always you know, so you see some post CV, all their experiences start with the same action words, all right? So you have a plethora of words you could use, and this even grouped it out in different, you know, categories. So you want to take note of that. If you're a customer service representative, you know, typically, let me give you a bad example of if somebody is a customer care representative, person will say, in charge of answering calls. You want to ensure that the way you write your experiences shows that you have tremendous value to offer to the organization. I was in charge of answering calls. Okay, what does that say? Anybody can do that. Am I communicating? Anybody can do that. Now, I was reading this book called Deep Work. Where is that book? And in this book, the author said something very important. He said, if a young person, if anybody can do if I take somebody and I train the person for 4 days and the person can do your job, it means that the value of your job is not as important. Does that make sense? If I take somebody from school and train the person for 3 days and the person can do the exact thing you're doing, then what extra value do you offer? So you want to also write your words in a way that shows that you offer tremendous value and you do deep work. Does that make sense? All right, look at this one. Emanuela wrote on chat section. Pioneer the establishment of a quality assurance team, which ensured software developed met the specification. Awesome, that's beautiful. She started with an action verb or action word called pioneer. Then she showed what she did. All right, so you want to show achievements, which ensured software developed met the specification. Someone else could have wrote it like, I established the quality assurance team, full stop. You see that? But she wrote, pioneer the establishment of quality assurance team, which ensures the software developed met the specifications. You also want to ensure that there are no grammatical errors on your CV, right? One software you can use is Grammarly. How many of you use that software? Just raise your hand if you use that software. All right. When you finish writing your CV, it's advised to transfer what you're writing into Grammarly.com. At least the free version would help you, would do some kind of, would help you to an extent. All right, because if you look at that thing Emanuela wrote now, you know, we could have, you could detect, you know, some ways the grammar could have been better construed. But thanks for sharing. All right. So did you get that? Always ensure that when you write your experiences, you start with an action word, you show achievement. For example, let's tell this Emanuela's example. Furthermore, when you're writing your experiences, also good to show numbers or percentage. All right, numbers or percentage. I remember in one of my CVs, I wrote something of like manage a budget of £3 million. All right. Sometimes I even write something like effectively manage the budget of £3 million, which showed value for money and met project demands. You see, I didn't just say manage the budget, I showed the value. Because sometimes you go for an interview and they're looking for people who can manage a lot of money, right? And not just a few amounts of money. So you want to also show achievements. For example, pioneer the establishment of a quality assurance team, which ensured a 90% assurance rating or something. Does that make sense? All right. So you want to show numbers. You want to show numbers. You want to show figures as much as possible. Let me know if this is making sense. All right, let me see some other examples. What Dinaka said, implemented risk management and risk assessment to manage, prioritize, and reduce risks for organizations. All right. You also want to ensure that the way you write your experiences is not cliche, right? It's not cliche. You also have to say, what's the chance that someone else is writing this thing the way I'm writing it? All right, so when you write implemented risk management and risk assessment to manage, prioritize, and reduce risk for organization, it sounds broad. What exactly in the risk management did you do? So if you write something like develop a risk management strategy or a risk management framework, you see, you want to show exactly what you did, not what your job description said. Does that make sense? Am I communicating here? So instead of writing implemented risk management and risk assessment to manage, prioritize, and reduce risk of hello, you can write developed a risk management framework or a risk management strategy which led to mitigating 50% of the risks of the organization in that financial year cycle. All right. Provided on-call support to the user, either at an organization's office or client destination site. Fantastic. All right, but what are the percentage of the feedback of the call? Now, somebody has said something very important. We don't have experience. What do we do? If you are in that similar situation, say yes, sir. If you're in that similar situation, say yes, sir. I don't have experience. So what do I do? Quite a lot of people, right? Now, let me ask you a question. What is experience? Let's understand what is experience. When you say you don't have experience, what do you mean by that? After transiting to cybersecurity, you don't have any experience in cybersecurity. So I guess you mean that you have not worked in any organization in cybersecurity. Is that what you're saying? Let me know. Answer job experience. You have not worked in the corporate environment. Fantastic. Now let me ask you a question. There are 3 ways. I don't know what these 3 things is, but let me start with number 1. There are 3 ways. If you don't have any experience, there's 3 things you start doing right now. Number 1, look for an organization and volunteer in, work for free or intern. All right, look for a cybersecurity company and said, you know what, I'm a cybersecurity professional, or I'm a cybersecurity professional, beg your pardon. I have experience XYZ. I would like to work in your company for 2 months or a month to, to just support your team and blah, 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 blah. Don't worry about the funds. That's how I got my first job. I volunteered in a non-profit organization for 3 months. I offered tremendous value. I was so good that they could not ignore me. And when there was an opening in the organization, guess who they hired? Guess what they hired? I made a full-time staff. I was. All right. So, and when I was volunteering, I was assuring that I was achieving something, and that was what I was writing in my CV. Because in your CV, nobody's going to ask you if this was a full-time job or if you was volunteering. It's the experience you need. So number 1, if you don't have this experience, you want to do that. Number 2, ask yourself, in my previous role, listen to this, in my previous job, what were some things I did that had some cybersecurity, related things? So let's assume that you're applying for a data analyst role. And in your previous job, you were a finance and accounting staff. But while you were in finance and accounting, you did some data analysis functions. Am I communicating? Those are some of the things you could also use to tweak your experiences to show that background. Remember, skills are transferable. Let me ask you a question in the comment section. I'm going to call a category. Follow this category, say yes. Category number 1, you studied what you applied for in the university. Meaning, you wanted to study a particular thing when you were growing up, right? And you applied for that thing for the first time and you got it, and that's what you studied. If you're in that category, say yes. Category number 2, what you studied in the university is not really what you applied for. It's not really what you wanted to do. If you're in that category, say, If you're in that category, say, Let me give a third category. Whether you follow number 1 or 2, after school, you did not practice what you studied in school. Say, After school, you're not using what you studied in school. You're doing something else. How many of you can guess what I studied in school? Guess what I studied? Who can guess what I studied in school? Who can guess what I studied in school? Someone said microbiology. Do I look like an organism? Someone said tourism. Hey, voila. Sorry, I know we don't have any Nigerians here. Voila means trouble. But I talk well. I thought someone was gonna say. Someone said English. Is my English that good? Okay. I studied biochemistry, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to look at my LinkedIn profile. I studied biochemistry. But in my final year, I knew that, my God, what am I doing here? And I had to navigate my career. But does this mean what you studied in school is wrong? No. It just shows that the world is moving from what you studied to what can you do. The world is moving from certification to competence. Am I communicating? The world is moving to what you study in school to what can you do. Come on, say in the comment section, what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? So in your CV, if you can show what you can do, if you can show what you can do and what competence you have, you stand a chance. And how can you do this? You can do this, number one, in the way you write your profile summary and in the way you articulate your experiences. Now, there are two types of CVs. You can write an experience kind of CV and you can write a skill set kind of CV. But the question is, if you go and meet an employer and say, I attended Cyber Safe Foundation, and in there I learned cybersecurity, I learned this, I learned that. How will I know you can do it? Because your certification is not a proof that you can do something. So you have all the skills you've learned and you are waiting for a job. No, find opportunities to do what you've learned. That is the proof. In the learning and development principle, it says that 70% of the things you know, you learn by doing. 10% you learn by certification and training. 20% you learn from others. The proof that you know something is that I can tell what area or what experience or what ways you've done it. And you don't need a 9 to 5 to do those things. It could be a project, ladies and gentlemen. It could be a project. The International Youth Day just ended. All right. I know of an organization who did different volunteering youth projects. It could be a project. It could be a work that you did for somebody. That is why if you're looking for while you're looking for a job, look for experiences. And experiences is look for what you can do now. A lot of people are waiting for jobs and they just write a CV and they are just on LinkedIn. I'm looking for a job, and they're not doing anything. I know this is CV and I'm digressing, but if you get this part, you get the CV part. Is this making sense, ladies and gentlemen? All right. So when I finished studying school and I studied biochemistry, I went for a training. After I did that training, I went to volunteer for 3 months. All right, and practice all those things I've learned. I first of all interned in another position, as a matter of fact, for 6 months before I even went to work for free. So in my CV, I had something to write. You see, I had something to write. So those are 3 ways. Number one is that look for transferable experiences. Look for the ways that what you know, what you're applying for, you could have done that in your previous experience. All right. You're applying for if you're applying for a data analyst role and you analyze data in your previous job, you have experience in data analysis. All right. If by mistake you helped solve a cybersecurity issue in your previous job, you have experience in cybersecurity because your certification certifies. That's why I say certification. It certifies your experience. It certifies what you can do. All right. So look for those things. Am I communicating? Am I communicating? All right. Where was I? All right. So that is it. So if you don't have experience, it's like somebody saying, "Oh, I don't have experience." Everybody has experience, ladies and gentlemen. Generally speaking, someone say, "I'm looking for a job. I don't know what to apply for. I don't have experience." And I ask them, have you ever done anything in your life that looked like work? She said, yes. I said, what did you do? She said she worked in a mom's store, in a mom's boutique as a sales girl. I said, you are a sales development associate. You are a sales analyst. Somebody said, oh, back then, when I was looking, when I was at home, I didn't have anything to do. I worked at the security as a gate man. You're a security officer. Oh, I once did Uber and Bolt. You are a transport and mobility expert. Hello. We all have experiences. You have to think, you have to think, you have to think, you have to look within, you have to look within. All right, you have to look within and ask yourself, in what ways have I deployed this skill in the past, ladies and gentlemen? All right, for example, I'm facilitating a training here. In my current job, in my previous job, I was facilitating trainings a lot. But in my current job, I'm not doing this. If I'm applying for another job and they say, we're looking for people expert in training, I can use this thing, I can use this Saturday thing I'm doing as an experience. All right. It reminds me of someone who was applying for a project management role after school. And she went to the interview and they asked her, tell me a time when and you know that's how they ask questions in the interview. They asked her, tell me a time when you've done something related to project management. And she said, back in school, I was the head of the department. And in school, we implemented a lot of projects for students. And one of the projects we did was a seminar for microbiology students. I invited the speaker, I did the budgeting, I did the work plan, and she said everything around project management, and that's it. So some of you say, if you say you don't have experience, it means you are not living, you are only existing. You have not done anything in life. Just wake up and sleep, wake up and sleep, wake up and sleep. You have experiences. Hello? Now, the next thing is to say, okay, but I have experience in cybersecurity. I've looked in my life and I cannot tell anything I've done related to cybersecurity. Ladies and gentlemen, look for projects to volunteer and do on. All right, those are things you can write in CV. Look for projects, look for projects, look for projects, look for volunteering experiences and volunteering, look for internship roles and intern. All right. That's it. Work for 2 months, but show value. Be so good that they cannot ignore you. And those are things you can put in your CV. All right. Are we learning something today? Are we learning something today? So those are the general tips. Those are general tips. Now those are general tips. So now I'm going to go straight down into the CV itself, all right? I'm going to walk you through step by step on what you should consider when you write your CV, all right? So there's this CV I usually share. In my previous organization, I used to share it as a template for people to use, all right? And I've gotten a lot of feedback from that. So let me use that. Let me use that for today's class, all right? And I'm also going to show you my CV. But I may not show my CV, so it doesn't look a bit intimidating. Oh my God, CV, man, no. Let me use this very simple CV that I had created for young people. All right. Tell me, are you learning something? Are you learning something? All right. Okay, let me give another point while I'm waiting for this to pop up. Is the fonts. I've told you before, do not use all those kind of funny fonts and stuff, but I didn't tell you the kind of fonts to use. Make your fonts just simple, right? Use Calibri. Somebody writes it in the comment section, Calibri. All right, there's fonts like Calibri. You can use Helvetica. You can use Cambria. All right, Cambria. All right, those are some of the fonts you can use. You can stay with those fonts. In terms of font size, use for your name. I'm going to pop up a CV now. For your name, you can use 14, and the rest you can use 11 or 10 as the case may be. All right. The next thing I've talked about Times New Roman, not necessary. Let me say why. I'm the graphic. I do graphic design, and this is it. Have you noticed that most books use all those kind of fonts that have edges? All right, those kind of fonts are called Times New Roman. Those fonts are called serif fonts. Serif, S-E-R-I-F. Those fonts that have, what's it called? That have edges. All right, and let me show what I mean. Now, graphically speaking, those fonts are best used for text, for print materials. All right. serif fonts. Let me show what I mean by that. Okay, so let me share my screen. Leading edge is fantastic, Gabriel. Thank you. The experts are telling me. I said edges, leading edges. But let me share what I mean by that. Now, if you look at this font, look at the screen. Can you see your screen? Let me see. Open image, new tab. Is not. But if you look at this font, this is a serif font. It has this leading edges. And this is a sans serif font. Sans serif font doesn't have those edges. Now, these fonts are best used for printed documents. And these are best used for things that are viewed on screen. On screen. That's why on social media, you hardly see this kind of fonts. You see mostly this kind of fonts because this is easier to read on screen than this. Now, if you're writing your CV or submitting your CV today, they will most likely look at it where? Where would they most likely view your CV? Are they going to print it and read it? No, they'll probably look at it on the screen, on their laptop. So it's best you use what? A sans serif kind of font. Calibri, Helvetica, Montserrat, all this kind of fonts. All right? Than this kind of Times New Roman. Times New Roman, it just makes your CV look very busy and uninspiring to read. However, like I said, there are no hard or fast rules to this. You can choose to do anyone, but it is advisable, all right, that you stay with the sans serif font because it's better to read. Does that make sense? All right. So that is the psychology of typography. Now let me share a CV template with you. I'm going to share this with you later on. All right. I did a post on my Instagram. I don't know how many of you know me on Instagram here. All right. On Instagram, I did a post some time ago on how to write your CV summary. All right. And your profile summary. And I'm going to go to that post to explain this session. Altogether, I want to go straight into the CV step by step. Altogether, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? All right, can someone just confirm that you can hear me? Okay, fantastic. All right, fantastic. All right. Now let's go. This is your CV. The first thing you want to do is your name and your or your information. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when you're writing your name, this is font size what? This font size 18. All right, you want to make it a bit bigger. You want to write your location. So if you're in Nairobi, Kenya, you just write Nairobi, Kenya. You don't need to put your full address. I'm putting port number 12, you know, Merumbu Street. Of this, they put their whole full address. You know, if you do like that and your CV is on the internet, and somebody knows your address, they'll just locate you and kidnap you. I'm just joking, but you don't need to put your full address, just your location is fine. Can I ask the host to make me co-host so that I can stop the annotations on the screen? If you don't mind just making me the co-host, so or just stop annotations so people don't annotate on the screen. All right, so I'm going to reshare again. So please do not annotate on the screen, just so you don't distract. So this is your name. You can make it size 18. You put your location, you put your email address. Your email address should be your first name, your last name. Don't put sexytaiwo@gmail.com or Todak and handsome Daniel at yahoo.com. You know, just put your name and your last name. All right. If your names are, you know, there's some certain tribes that 1 million people else are 1 million other people are bearing the same name as you. All right. If you're in that situation, you can use a number, but don't put the date of birth as the number. You write Daniel Emmanuel 92 at gmail.com. Hello, you want everyone to know the date you're born? It's okay to put numbers, but I'm just saying, all right? But just make it as possible. Sometimes you can put hyphen, sometimes you can put dots, all right? Sometimes you can put for example, if your name is Daniel James, you can do djames at gmail.com or d_. But if your email address looks funny, you should know, all right? You want to just make it professional. Your phone number or your LinkedIn profile, you can put your profile here. Now, many people, they go beyond and start putting something called bio data in your CVs. It's not necessary to put bio data. You know what bio data is? They write things like their state of origin, the country of residence, their gender, all those things are not important. Am I communicating? All those things are not important. They say, let me see, which part of my pronunciation? Okay, all those things are not necessary. Bio data information, you put your state of origin, you put no. All right, we want to remove that. The next thing on your CV is called your profile summary. Some people, they write it as career objective. Now, how many of you have this section in your CV? How many of you have this section in your CV? Now, people say it is not compulsory to include this section. It is not compulsory to include this section. However, if you want to include it, you must include it well. You must include it well. You know what? Somebody paste your current. Let's use an example. Somebody paste your current profile summary, or what some people call career objective, in the comment section. Let's redo it. Let me use an example to show you what your profile should be. Now, it could be profile. You can write as profile. You can write as profile summary. All right. I think that's the two I would say. I don't really advise to use career objective, because what is your career objective? What does the company have to do with your career objective? You get what I mean? All right. So let me see. Solomon has shared his own. All right. Let me paste, you know what? Let me just copy and paste it in the blank documents. I hope you're getting value from this class, ladies and gentlemen. Please, if you're not, if you are, let me know, so that after this class, you should be able to write a good CV. After this class, if you don't have a CV, then it means it's either I was not teaching well, or your brain could not comprehend what I was saying. Shimi Ziri War, how are you doing? Good. Okay, so I've copied a bit. All right, that's fine. You can stop sharing now. So let me share some of the ones I've copied on here. Now, this person said, let me increase the size. It said, results focused cybersecurity professional. Okay. With strengths in blue, okay. You will see why I'm coloring this later on. Experienced in these, okay. And proficient in leveraging these that will help. Well, this part may not be necessary, because you also want to keep it short and straight to the point. All right, let's analyze this one. Let's analyze this one. Are we together, guys? That's why I asked where you were before we said this training. Let's analyze this one. So this person said, I'm a cybersecurity trainee, okay? Looking to intern. I'm looking to intern. Okay. I am what? Flexible. This person's bone is flexible. The bones are very flexible. And he believes in teamwork. And he strongly believes, he's a pastor, he believes. He doesn't just believe, he strongly believes. Man of God. All right, now let's look at this so critically. All right, don't worry. I said you should stop posting for now. Let's look at this too. Now pay attention, guys, pay attention. Let me start from the second one, right? When you're writing your profile summary, if you write this down, if you're taking notes, avoid cliche words. Avoid cliche words, all right? Avoid cliche words. Avoid words like I pay attention to details, passionate. All those words are cliche words. Result driven. You see? Avoid cliche words. You want to make sure that what you're writing shows your experience, shows your skill, and shows what background you have. Very important. Number two, when you're writing a CV summary, ensure that keywords in the job description are reflected in the profile summary. Ensure that keywords in the job description are reflected in the profile summary. Are we together? Ensure that keywords, ensure that keywords in the job description are reflected. All right. Chungu Zulu, are you learning something? Are you learning? Are you learning? Are you learning? Fantastic. All right. So ensure that keywords are reflected. Now, number three, I've said two things. So much you have been summarizing in the comment section. I said number one, well, I don't know what number one, avoid cliche words. Number two, I said ensure that keywords are reflected. Number three, when we're talking about profile summary, is make it short, simple, and straight to the point. It should not be more than one paragraph. You see, look at the one that Miriam just shared. That one is 2 paragraphs, too long. All right, make it 1 paragraph. All right, make it 1 paragraph, make it 1 paragraph. All right, and straight to the point. Now, I think those are the. Now, let's go back to the screen. Everybody, look at the screen. Number one thing I noticed. Let's start from the second one because the first one is really good. So let me use the second one to explain, and I'll come to the first one and show you what this person did correctly. In the second one, the person wrote a cybersecurity trainee. It's very important that you don't want to come across as a novice. What does a trainee mean? It means you are still undergoing training. How many organizations really? If you are applying for a graduate training role, maybe yes. But if you're applying for an analyst role, for instance, you don't want to say trainee. Some people they write enthusiast. I'm a cybersecurity enthusiast. What does that mean? Some people they write I'm a cybersecurity novice. Avoid words that describe you as a learner. Rather, use analysts. All right. Analyst is a more professional way of I don't know how to spell analyst again. Hey, this is spelling of analyst. Okay, yes. All right, analyst. All right. Don't worry, Israel. I know it was intentional. I'm just using this to speak generally. I'm not. Please, Israel should not feel bad. Israel, don't worry. I understand. All right. So stop saying analyst, stop saying trainee, stop saying novice. Stop introducing yourself as a novice. Hello? Am I communicating? That's number one. Number two, it says looking to intern in an organization that offers tech skills to help enhance my data skill. If you read this thing, you will even be confused. Looking to intern in an organization that offers tech skills to help enhance my data skill. So what he's saying is that I'm looking to join an organization that will help me. Means I'm not joining you to help you. I'm joining you so that you can help me. Hello. Some people are laughing, but these are your write your CV. These are your CVs now. So let's assume I'm looking for somebody to join my company in data analysis, and you send your CV and you're saying, I want to join your organization so that you can help me. And I'm like, this person is going to give me a tough time. Because if I give the person data analysis job, I'm going to sit by his side and say, okay, do this, do this, do this. You see? He now said he is flexible. Flexible is a cliche word. What kind of flexible? Is it gymnastic? Is it gymnastic? Is it, you know, those people that they will do their hand, will put their hand under their tummy? Is that kind of flexibility? You see? So you want to avoid cliche words. Now, how should you write your summary? All right. Start with an action word. Look at what this person started with. Result focused. You see that? Result focused. Start with an action word. Result focused, resilient, reliable. What other word? What other word could you use? All right, reliable, efficient, something like that. After you do that, the next thing should describe your profession or who you are or what you do. The next thing should describe your profession or who you are or what you do. All right, I want to believe I'm communicating. Should describe your profession, your profession of who you. So the person said, cybersecurity professional. You see, cybersecurity professional. But let me ask a question. I don't really know much about cybersecurity, but tell me, does cybersecurity sound broad? Or cybersecurity is like saying engineering, and under engineering, there's civil, there's mechanical, there's this. So under cybersecurity, are there different components? It's broad, right? So if you say you're a cybersecurity professional, it means that you know everything in cybersecurity. That's what it means. Okay, fantastic. Stay with me. Stay with me. Hold on. Now remember, I said your CV, your profile summary must be tailored to the job you're applying for. Did you forget that? Don't forget that. So if the job says we're looking for a cybersecurity analyst, this is fine. Hello, this is fine. But if the job said something different, that we're looking to employ something else, then this may not really suffice. Remember, there are no advantages to this. It may work, it may not work. Let me share my screen and show you this job, for instance. Now, this job says they're looking for a cybersecurity analyst. Can you guys hear me? This job says they're looking for a cybersecurity analyst remotely, results-focused cybersecurity analyst. Fantastic. Am I communicating? All right, fantastic. But if the job says something else, so let me look. If the job now says they're looking for a DevSec operation engineer, and you're gonna say you're a cybersecurity professional, then maybe not. All right. But if you say I'm a results-focused dev secretary, whatever sec means, sorry, I'm a DevSec operations engineer, then that makes sense. Are you learning something today? That is what we mean by your CV being tailored. You know what tailor is? Tailored to the job you're applying for. Now let's go back to the example. So that's why I said that example is really good. So if I'm applying for a data analyst, a cybersecurity role, fantastic. Now this is now beautiful. He said with strength. Now let's assume you don't have, say, 4 years of experience or many years of experience. Developing security and operations, fantastic. DevSecOps. That sounds interesting. Can I meet you? Say, my name is Daniel Emmanuel. I'm a DevSecOps. Now, I'm a DevSecOps engineer. Wow. I'm a DevSecOps engineer. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Now, so you know to write this first part, right? I said start with start with an action word and write the profession. And this profession here can be tailored to the job role. So result-focused cybersecurity analyst, result-focused DevSecOps engineer, something like that, all right? So whatever job it is, you're paying for a program manager. I'm a result-focused or reliable or efficient program manager, right? Now, after a penetration tester. Wow. All right. Now, after that, look at what he said. He said with strengths. Now, if you don't want to say strengths, you can write something like, now, let's say you just finished Cyber Safe Foundation training. You don't really have so much experience, or you're not very strong, you're not very proficient in it. You can write something like, don't go and say, I'm a I'm a reliable cybersecurity analyst with little experience or little knowledge. No, you want to write something like, with obtained knowledge and keen interest. Now, others people that say you don't have experience, this is what you can write. You can write obtained knowledge. What is obtained knowledge? You've obtained the knowledge from Cyber Safe Foundation. You know this thing, but you don't necessarily have experience in it. Obtained knowledge and keen interest. Am I communicating? And keen interest in. You then list the category of the job, of what the job is looking for. So let's go back to that slide, to that job description. I'm afraid I may have lost some people here, but drag me back if you want some this thing. Now, if you look at this job description, look at this. They said they're looking for somebody who has a high in monitoring and resolution of security incidents. Okay, this is why you need to analyze job description. You can't just see a job and say, oh, these people are looking for cybersecurity analysts. I'm going to apply. This job is for me. You just send your CV, boom. Nobody's gonna employ you. You have to go back to the job. You study it like you're studying your Bible. You look at it keenly. You see? I will send the format, Mr. Easy, all right? So you look at it and say, okay, they're looking for somebody that has eyes on monitoring and resolution of security incidents, okay? They're looking for somebody who can perform real-time monitoring. Monitoring as applied. So you see, they're very keen on monitoring. You look at this again, you see something, they wrote security information monitoring. You say, these people, are they monitoring spirits? What are they monitoring? So you see that they're very keen on monitoring. So you need to write your CV in the language you understand, especially if they are using an ATS, applicant tracking software. They must have probably put monitoring as a filter word. So monitoring has come in again. So let's look at it. You see security information monitoring, all right? You see documentation review and improvement, okay? You see responding to the phone calls and interfacing with clients. Fantastic. This is for the cybersecurity analyst, right? Then I come to my CV profile. Stay with me and see how you write your CV profile. So instead of just writing, I'm a this, I'm a passionate individual, I'm a fire for fire, all those things. No. So I'm showing this afresh. I'm telling you how to write this in afresh. We said you start with an action word, replicate the role with obtained knowledge and keen interest. That is, if you don't have the experience. If you have the experience, you can say with experience. You see, you can say with experience, or you can use the strength that the other colleague said, or you can use skill. All right. I'm making this impractical so that your profile summary. And if you get this right, this is how you can introduce yourself. Because when you're looking for a job, people are going to be asking you, so what would you like to do? Or somebody will tell you, can I meet you? If somebody tells you, if you meet someone on the road today and so the person asks you, tell me about yourself, what would you say? Somebody will say, my name is Obiano Ju. I'm a cyber security. I just finished Cyber Safe Foundation. You know, I'm a DevSecOps, you know. You see, they'll just tell this one of them, you know what he's doing. You see? So when you write this profile summary well, this could be how you introduce yourself. Oh, Mr. Daniel, how are you? What do you do? I'm a result-focused cybersecurity professional with obtaining knowledge and interest in person skills and See, if I continue like this, we'll not finish. I have 26 minutes to end this thing. All right, so let's go. So you do this, and stick in. So we've looked at that thing critically, and we said the inexperience in security monitoring, security, okay? Security monitoring, and improvement. What else did you see in that? What else did you see in that JD? We saw security monitoring. We saw some other things. So let me just summarize. So I'll not waste time. We saw communicating and escalating incidents, and we saw client relationship. All right. So I come back to the thing. I also write client. Let me just write something, right? Issues resolution and client relationship. Full stop. The next thing you want to do, so let's leave experienced here. The next thing you want to do is write something like skilled. You can write something, you can also use experience in this way. You now list the skill that you have. Now, there are two types of skills. There are hard skills. There are two kinds of skills, I beg your pardon. There's hard skills and there's what? Who can name the other one? There's hard skills and what? And soft skills, all right? There's hard skills and soft skills. Now, in cybersecurity, what are some hard skills under cybersecurity? For example, if we look at that job, we could see some of the hard skills they have mentioned there. So you see that they mentioned both the hard skills and the soft skills, all right? Yes, patience. Now look at the tools. They said, look at the tools they need. They need somebody who is current in security threats. So that you can also add that in your profile. Look at the skill. They say Linux, Splunk, you know. When I say tailor your CV, don't go and write everything. I'm skilled in Linux, CLI, Slim, Snot, Wireshark, MAP, hello. Pick top 3 or 2 or 4 that you know and you can do very well, all right? That's when you write it there. Okay. So let's go back to our slide. So experience in, you see, so you write it there. Experience in Wireshark, all right, Bob suits, and what else? All right. When you finish that, the last paragraph, the last thing you want to write is those things like, usually what I write is proving ability or track record. All right, track record of proving ability. Anyone you want to write, or proving ability to go over and beyond. You can also write to take initiative, you know, utilizing a range of, now I want to write some of your soft skills here, leadership. What soft skills do cybersecurity need to have? Problem solving. All right, I'm just going to write this: problem solving, critical thinking skills to offer value to your organization, blah, 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 blah. All right. Now, isn't this a better profile summary than just writing cliche words? Now, if you put it in the normal font size 11, you see that it's not even a lot. It's just 4 lines. All right. So you can even, this guy says seeking employment. You don't write seeking employment, okay? You don't always want to sound desperate. Yes, you're desperate, you need the job, but you also don't want to sound desperate, especially in your profile. All right. When you're applying for a job, everybody already knows that you're seeking employment, okay? All right. That will help me improve my skill in vulnerability and testing. So let's see this. So it's not necessarily track record of probability to go over and beyond. It's maybe something to, let's add what this person wrote. So improve my skill? No. All right. So you can say to offer both organizational and personal development. All right. Now, does this make sense? Do you now know how to write your profile summary? Any questions before we go into the next category, the next sections of your CV. Does you now know how to write your profile summary? I said start with an action word, replicate the title. You can use professional, you can use analyst, you can use associate, you can use the different things, all right? Obtain knowledge and keen interest. I don't have experience, I just have certification in these things, but I've done some little things. You can use obtain knowledge and keen interest. If you have experience, use experience or skills. Right, look at the job description and look at the job description and find the recurring theme. All right. Now, the first thing is not so much about your skill in terms of technical, is more is more of mental. All right, monitoring, improvement, issues resolution. You have to look at the job description and understand what are these guys really looking for. You write that, then you go to the last paragraph and now articulate the technical skills or the soft skills you're experiencing. Yes, you can use that as profile on LinkedIn, all right? Let me show you my LinkedIn profile. I'm not sure if I've updated it. Okay, no, it's similar to what DT read. I'm not sure of updated it, but that's it. Now, let me take two people reason behind. Let me see. I'll just take your questions very quickly. Gabriel, Gabriel, let me leave you surname. Njoku. All right, you can unmute yourself and ask a question very quickly.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. It's concerning the profile. I was going to ask, you said we should tailor it to the job you're applying for, and I'm wondering, how does that affect our LinkedIn profile? Most of this organization, we also go to LinkedIn to look at our profile. We have to change our profile every time we update the profile on our CV, so that when they go to the profile on LinkedIn, they also see something similar. Or we can have a generic something on LinkedIn, for the profile too.
That is a good question, all right? And let me answer that question like that. If you're looking for a job, you should have at least minimum 2, maximum 3 sectors or organizations you want to work in, and 3 kind of work you want to do. So under cybersecurity, you want to ask, under cybersecurity, what is the 2 areas of cybersecurity that I really want to do, that I'm both passionate and knowledgeable about? All right. You want to know that to a very great extent. That means that the kind of jobs you'll be looking for will be centered around those 2 or those 3. All right. You don't want to apply for any kind of job. You apply for Gitman, security. No, you want to be focused. That's what even makes you more experienced in whatever career you want to pursue. For example, in my let me show you let me use myself as an example. If I share my LinkedIn profile, you're going to see something. You're going to see, is a development professional, is a learning expert, and is a project management specialist. So that is 3 areas that I like my work to focus on. So if I'm applying for a non-profit role, you will see that I said I'm a development professional. If I'm applying for a learning and development role, you will see I said I'm a learning expert. If I'm applying for a project management role, you will see I said I'm a project manager. Does that make sense? And if you come to my byline, you are going to see that it's the same thing that is articulated there. Program management, so manager, development professional, and learning. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense, guys? All right. So it is tailored. And if I show you my CV, I don't know if I have my CV in here. All right. But let me show you my CV. So to answer his question, is like that. So your summary, your profile summary, yes, is tailored to a specific job, but I can tell that is one of the jobs, one of the things that you would like to do. So have at least 2. So this is something you need to realize. If you say you're what's it called? You're a development. You say you're okay. I can't find any of my CV here. Okay, I think I can find one. So if you say you're interested in cybersecurity, you want to ask yourself what area, all right, and have a laser focus to improving your competency in that area. You don't want to be everywhere. If you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. You see, if you don't stand for something, rather, you'll fall for anything. So you want to have some certain level of um, of focus. Did that make sense? Did that make sense? I'm trying to bring up my seat. But let's take the question. Let's take one more question. We'll soon be done. Let's go to South Africa. Let's take from Zambia. All right. So can you unmute yourself, Wamba? Unmute yourself. Sorry. Unmute yourself now. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. We can hear it clearly. So let's go to South Africa. Moria. Can you unmute yourself? All right. Team because of network.
Hi.
Yes.
Oh, hi everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, I think I missed on something, so I just wanted to confirm that you said we shouldn't use the word enthusiastic.
Yes.
Like, can you elaborate on that, please?
Avoid using the word enthusiast. What does an enthusiast mean? What does it mean? Who can tell me? Okay, she said, okay. What does the word enthusiast mean? Who can tell me? Someone tell me in the chat section. What does the word enthusiast mean? It means you are interested, right? So if you say I'm a cybersecurity enthusiast, it means I'm somebody who is passionate and interested in cybersecurity. I did a video recently on Instagram where I said something like, many people say they're passionate about something, but they don't have the corresponding skill in what they are passionate about. I'm passionate about cybersecurity. Okay. But if you say I'm a cybersecurity professional, I'm a cybersecurity expert, I'm a cybersecurity associate, I'm a cybersecurity analyst, that suggests more than enthusiast that you have the corresponding skill in cybersecurity. Does that make sense now? All right. Number two, enthusiast is cliche. Passionate is cliche. Many people use it without attaching any level of deep work into it. Does that make sense? All right. And it's not in the professional language. It doesn't show skill. If I say I'm interested in traveling around the world, if I say I'm enthusiastic about traveling around the world, does that mean I've traveled around the world? But if I say I'm an expert, I'm a professional in traveling, you will say, this guy travels a lot. Does that make sense, guys? You see where I'm coming from? So enthusiast doesn't necessarily, you can use it. Remember, I said they know how to fast of that, but it's an advice, it's not a rule. It's an advice to say, if you say I'm enthusiastic about traveling around Africa, I'll say, oh, you're interested in traveling, and say, oh wow, so when will you start to travel? That's when I'll ask you. Because I'm a professional, I analyze traveling. Like, wow, you have some certain level of experience in that. Okay, let's go to work history. Let's go to work history. All right, let's go to work history. Some people call it a work experience. This is very straight to the point now. Some people call it as work. Now, there's a question. Let me ask a question. We're almost done. Trust me. The rest part is just, if you get your profile summary right, you're 20% in. All right. Now, there's a question. Somebody said, which should come first, your experience or your education? Let me ask that question. Which one should come first? Your experience or your education? All right. Ibokun Oluwa said experience. Israel Insesong said experience. Inkonke said education. Awojobi said experience. Nsikak said depends. Michael said education. I am not here to tell you which one comes first, but let me tell you something. Then you decide which one should come first. All right, that's how I teach. So that you decide. If I tell you everything, then I'm not a good teacher. Let me tell you something. Then you now decide. If I studied biochemistry and I'm applying for a biochemistry role, which one should come first? And I don't have any experience in biochemistry, but I got a first class in biochemistry, and I have other certifications in biochemistry. Which one should come first? Remember, a recruiter spends less than 10 seconds or less than 1 minute looking at your CV, and they look at your CV from top to bottom. Many of them will not have time to go to the second page or go down. They'll just look at your work profile. This profile makes sense. What does this study? What did you study? Oh, fantastic. Shortlist. All right. Now, some people have said education in that part. Fantastic. All right. Now, let me ask you another question. I studied biochemistry, first class in biochemistry, but I had experience in cybersecurity. I've done some cybersecurity jobs based on learning, based on training and everything. And I'm applying for a cybersecurity role. Which one should come first? Experience. You see? So use your imagination as you will. So what you do with that information. All right. So if you are transitioning careers, for instance, you've been working in a particular sector of your life, I want to transition into cybersecurity, for instance, and you have quite a good number of certifications in cybersecurity, good ones. All right. Now, many of you have done many courses in Coursera. Don't go and write all the courses you've taken. Write the one. Remember, always tailor your CV to the job you're applying for. Write the training that is tailored to that job, maybe 2, maybe 3. All right. So and usually you cannot write education and certification. So you put education and certification together. All right. So when you write, and you know your CV should be arranged in chronological order. So 2022 Cyber Foundation, 2022 Coursera, 2022 Institute of Cybersecurity. All right. Then education, second class in microbiology. But the first thing they see is what? Is that you're certified in cybersecurity. All right. You want to push those things up first. Exactly what job role you're applying for. At the moment right now, I put my experience first. All right. I do not put my what's it called? I don't put my education first because I have more experiences. All right. Now let's see if I go and do my MBA and I do my master's. All right. If I do my MBA in one of the most prestigious business schools, guess what I'll put in my CV? What will come first? MBA. Because at that time I'll be applying for like manager role and all those stuff. Does that make sense, guys? All right. So there's no out of answer to that or which comes first, depends on your situation. All right, let's run. So you write the place you work. This person worked in Sterling Bank. You write the location. You put the dates on the extreme end. You put the position, and you write the experience. We've talked about this. Start with action words, right? Increased. All right, maintained. This is maintained. All right, effectively opened. Promptly responded. All right. Look at, you want to show achievements. Increase customer base by 30% during what year? 2018. All right. This person also received 97% satisfaction rating. So like that job that I showed you, where's that job, or LinkedIn? That job that I showed you on LinkedIn, where they're looking for somebody with experience in mind. Look at this penetration tester, for instance. All right, let us see some of the things you're looking for. They're looking for, so let's say a penetration tester, engagement. You want to show those percentage. I've tested maybe X number of platform with 7% customer satisfaction rate, something like that. You want to put action words, all right? The next stage is education. Remember, I said you can put education and training together, like so. Somebody asked a question that, can I put the details under that? Yeah, in italics and in a smaller font, you can put skills learned, include, you cannot write some of the skills you learned, all right? You learned this, you learned that, you learned that, you learned web sharp, you know, you learned da 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 da. And like I said, smaller fonts and italicize. You italicize it like this, you italicize it, make it bold, and make it small like so, all right? You can put it like so. You can also remove the, you can remove the line spacing so that it's a bit together, all right? You don't need to write, you can, if you're a professional member, you put it there. Skills and interests, put your skills and interests like so. What are the skills you have? You can include both problem solving and you can improve both soft skills and hard skills. And when you go on reference, you just put available requests. Stop putting people's personal information on your CV. All right, referees just put available requests. If they call you for the interview, they're gonna, if you're given the job, that's when they ask you to submit referees. So stop putting people's personal information on your CV. If you look at the way I wrote these skills and interests, you're gonna see something very interesting here. I kind of made some things bold, right? And those things I put bold were some of the things that are in the job description. I even put interest. What are some of the things I'm interested in? All right, so this is just a simple CV template that you can use. This is something I created, certification and all that. So let me show you my CV. How many of you want to see my CV? All right, let me show you my CV. And so Kenneth actually, in aspect of education and someone graduating with 2 or less, is it best to indicate that? So there used to be an old trick that people just write second class. All right, they don't put second class lower, they just put second class. But now many recruiters know. All right, many recruiters know that trick. So if you put second class or whether you don't put it, they know that if you put only second class here, second class lower. So I'll say just put it. All right. And if you don't have a good education or you didn't graduate well, that's why certifications are there. Do more certifications, you know, and when you arrange your CV, those certifications can come first. And look for places to volunteer and put those things you're learning to work. I think that's usually the issue. All right. Many people, they finish, they have these certifications, they have these experiences, but they've not put it to work. Put your certifications to work by volunteering, by working for free, as the case may be. Nowadays, there are so many remote jobs, so you can work for free from home. You don't necessarily have to pay transportation to the place. You know, that's what I advise you to do. Now, I will just use my CV and just wrap up. Okay, this is not it. And just wrap up this class. Now, this is my CV. Yeah, my CV. After your name, look at my profile. All right. Remember, I said your profile should write. Look at, I started mine with resourceful. I was applying for a project management role, so I put project management there. Over 5 years in, this is what they're looking for. They're looking for people who, they're looking for somebody who had implemented programs across Africa. So I put it there. I put what I'm experiencing in terms of the skill and all that, right? But there's a £3 million. It was financial fintech role. This is where I'm currently working, you know. This is where I worked before. If you see what I put here, directly trained over 40,000 young people on employability skills, scaled all the project training number by 300%. You see, you want to put those numbers, redesigned, and all those things. Very, very important. All right. This was working before, designed, remotely trained. You could see the figure, developed, trained, managed, involved. All right. If you didn't lead on it and you worked in a team, Don't write something like was part of a team, right? Involved, and focus on what you did in that team, all right? Designed. And if you notice, you can also write your CV in a project-based kind of CV. Now, I worked in this organization, this prestigious, fantastic organization called Leap Africa. And as a project manager, I implemented various projects. And I wanted to show the different roles I played in all those projects and also show the different things I did. Because if I just put 5 bullet points, it's not really showing. And as a project manager, this CV was tailored for a project management role where they wanted to see somebody who had managed various projects. So because of that, this is why I wrote it. In my role in this organization, this is what I did in the project. All right. I was a team lead of learning. I was a team lead in this project, and this is what I did. In my role in this organization as a project manager, these are the different projects I did, and this is what was done. All right. This is where I wrote my education and certification, Google certificates in project management. I've done some more certification I should add here. I did one non-profit here, but this was tailored to the job. You see, I was applying for a project management role, so I put the Google certificate in project management certification here. All right, I'm about writing my PMP exam, project management professional. That's going to replace this. If I'm applying for a learning role, it's going to be different. If I'm applying for a non-profit role, this certification might be different. All right. This is what I studied. Volunteering and membership. All right. I'm part of this. I'm part of the trainer. I'm an online support this. I was a platoon leader in school. Skills and experiences and all that and all that. Does that make sense, guys? Now, did you learn something today? Let me see. Did you learn something today? Did you learn something today? Yes. I used to work at Government. I worked at Government last year, from January to this year before I joined where I'm working currently. Did this make sense? This makes sense? It makes sense. Are you confident? That's the important thing, because you need some certain level of confidence when you have your CV. Remember, the employer needs you to join them just the way you want to join them. All right. So it's a win-win. The reason why they are asking you to apply is because they want you. If you come for an interview, is that they want you. All right. So I approach this thing with that confidence. The founder of CyberSafe, her name is what? Confidence. So everybody in CyberSafe must have what? Confidence. All right. So be confident in your approach to these things. All right. When you go for an interview, stop shaking. Can we meet you? My name is Daniel. I'm a cyber. No. Tell them thank you very much for asking that question. I'm a reliable professional in cybersecurity. Don't go and do speak normal, right? Don't form an accent. You don't speak normal and be yourself. You know what I mean? All right. So let me take some questions. So I told you about your CV. Your profile summary is very critical, very critical. Your experience is next. And I guess the challenge a lot of us have is that we don't have experience in this cybersecurity of a thing. And I said, what do? Look for places to volunteer, work for an intern, look for experiences in your former career that have some cybersecurity intricacies that you could use, all right? Your previous organization, did you do anything related to phishing, to security? Just look for it, all right? And if you don't have that, start looking for where you should start working now. For someone transitioning and applying for cybersecurity roles, should I remove my experience in banking? No, don't remove it, all right? Don't remove it in your cybersecurity analyst with a background in banking. You see, sometimes people want to employ people who have shared experiences. For example, if you're applying for a cybersecurity role in a bank, your banking will come in very handy because your understanding of how banking operation works. Remember, these things are more transferable skills. Not really technical skill is good, but the soft skills and the transferable skills is more important. As a banker, you pay attention to details. You have some certain level of problem solving and the rest, and these are things that a cybersecurity person will need. So you can say you're looking for a role in cybersecurity with a background in banking. When you say I have a background in banking, look at the way it even sounds. I have a background in banking. You're like, wow, a background in banking. So Godwin, your background is very important. Okay, it's still important. Don't put it aside. It's transferable skills. What do you between CV and resume? There's no difference, all right? I think resume is, the Americans mostly call it resume, and the British colonized country call it CV. All right. I want to say your CV should not be more than 2 pages. Hello. If your CV is 1 page, fine. If your CV cannot take 1 page, at least 2 pages. It should not be more than that. It should not be more than that, all right? Someone who has experience in telecommunication, can I include why I said that? Telecommunication is even kind of linked to cybersecurity, all right? So ask yourself, what would a cybersecurity person do in the telecommunications industry? Ask yourself that question, right? Then now, I will ask yourself that question. I ask yourself, when I was working in telecoms, did I do anything related to that? Even though what you did is so small, there's a way you can write it. You are not lying. Don't lie, but there's a way. You understand what I'm saying? If you move this thing from this point to this point, it's so small. Some people will say, I moved this thing from here to here. But somebody else can write, I transferred an organic material from point A to point B, ensuring there was a seamless transition in the process. It's the same thing, but somebody wrote it in a very packaged form. Am I communicating, guys? All right. So in your background, there's gold. In your background, there's gold. I'm reading questions. Somebody, Shekinat is saying, for an experienced person, what's the maximum number of pages your CV should be? I say it should not be more than 2 pages. My CV is still 2 pages. All right. Maybe if you have like 10 years experience, you cannot want to do more than 2. But for this target audience, I think it's safe to say I've worked in 3 organizations. My CV is 2 pages. All right. You want to keep it short. You want to keep it short, simple, and straightforward. Nobody reads your CV word for word. All right. But when they look at your CV, there are some things they want to pick. The way you articulate your profile statement, the kind of places you've worked, the kind of things you've done, the way you articulate your experiences, those are the things they pick. What are your skills? Those are the things they pick. What should a cover letter be written? Now, everyone listen to this. When somebody says, send me your CV, don't just write, find attached, thank you. No. Many people make that mistake. That's why nobody called them for any job. When somebody says, send me your CV, don't just go and write, thank you, find attached. Look at, when they say, send me your CV, let me see, compose. You must have a subject. Ensure your email has a subject. So you can say something like, application for cybersecurity role, all right? Cybersecurity analyst. Oops. All right. Then in the body of the email, you want to write, dear Daniel, something like this. Trust this meets you well, trust, even Google even completes it for you. As discussed earlier today, find attached. You want to write something. Then when you write it, have an overview, a summary of what you do. It could be a summary of your cover letter. It could be your profile summary. You want to include it in the body of the email. This way some people write, this way some people send emails. This way some people send emails. I say, send me your CV. They write my CV. They now do KFA. Thank you. If you send your CV like this, nobody will call you. Nobody. If you're like that, if you send your CV like that before, look straight. All right. Somebody say my CV has all these action words. I'm even shy of myself, but now I can defend it confidently. Fantastic. Somebody said nobody reads your CV word for word. Exactly, nobody reads your CV word for word, all right? But there are things that you pick out. Your profile summary, the way you articulate your experiences, the way you use the words and all that. Please, off topic, but mention the contents of the cover letter. Oh, that will probably be another class because of time. But many organizations already ask for cover letter nowadays, but that'll be another class. If you want me to have the class of cover letter, tell your program lead and you'll let me know, right? Let me see some other examples. If you have a background in computer engineering for your first degree, with your education come for experience, computer engineering should come first, because computer engineering has some sort of nuances to cybersecurity. Like I said, I'll give you the principle of how that applies. Do with that what you mean. All right. What about someone who isn't done with school yet? This is about the education part. You can just put in view, right? So you maybe not necessarily put in view. In the year area of the education part, if you put 2017 to 2022 or to 2023, you already know that you're still in school. All right. What about someone who's okay? What should the cover letter? A lot of people asking for cover letter. That would be on the class. But I would say this: if you want to know how to write a cover letter, learn how to write. How many of you can write very well? You can write. Many people don't know how to write. Okay, if you can write, storytelling. If you can write, you are good. If you can write, because if you can write, you can apply for scholarships, you can apply for jobs, you can apply for different things. And cover letter is a test of your writing skills. All right. The reason why many people are afraid to write cover letter because they don't know how to write. They don't know how to articulate their story. The cover letter is a summary of your story. The first paragraph talks about who you are, your skills and experience. The second paragraph talks about your background, what you've done in the past. And the third paragraph talks about how paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 will offer value to the organization. You see? But that'll be on that class. Someone said, okay, I think I've answered all the question in the chat section. All right. In the chat section, what am I expected to put in cover letter? How do you add projects in place of work experience? That's a very beautiful question. How do you write projects? Write a project-based CV could be just the way, it's the same thing, just the way in the CV you wrote the company. Write the project. Write the project name, write the year you did it, and write what you did under it. All right. So let's say you worked in the project of I don't know, say give an example, but write the name of the project in place of a company name. Write your role in the project. So if you're writing a project-based CV, what is just replacing? You're replacing company name with the project name. All right. Woo, what up? Project, your Apple Music library. You can ask me. I don't know what I mean. What about someone that hasn't gotten into an institution but have experience? I don't know how to answer that question. You've not gotten tech, but have experiences. You have certifications, Explore Foundation, Cyber Foundation certification. So that can come there, but the kind of jobs you may attract might be very limited. Let me take one question from Priscilla and Solomon. I will call it a day. Priscilla.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, good afternoon. Please, I want to ask a question concerning the references. You said we shouldn't put the contact of our references on our CV. But I had an experience one time where I applied for a role and my reference or my referee was called without my knowledge. So it was after he was called and the organization inquired whether he actually knows me and what I stated was true, that he called me to inform me. So sometimes the organization may be interested in you, but if there's no...
Hold on, Priscilla, let me ask a question. Were you called after submitting your CV only or after an interview?
So after the submission of the CV, I was called for an interview.
Exactly. So after the interview, if your CV was not, if the information was not in the CV, after the interview, they will have asked you for it. Does that make sense? All right.
Okay.
But for just the case of submitting CV alone, it is not ideal. Because let me tell you a question. If after the interview, if you didn't put the referee contact details in the CV, after the interview, they would have asked you for the contact details. All right. Then you would have provided the number. And guess what you could have done? You could have called the person and said, I just finished an interview and I think they're going to call you to ask you this. And the person will be more prepared to even answer the question. So the person will say, oh, I know Priscilla. Priscilla is very, all that kind of thing. Why did they just call him randomly from the blues? And they said, do you know Priscilla? And let's say the person is busy with something, and maybe the person has a rough day, and they call, do you know Priscilla? I say, which Priscilla? I don't know any Priscilla, don't disturb me. Or maybe the Priscilla they're referring to is the Priscilla that's owing him money. You say, no, don't give that Priscilla a job. She's owing me money. She's a useless girl. Then when you job is say, which of the Priscilla were they referring to? And boom. But that's the worst case scenario. I'm just joking. But you get the point, right? Also, for privacy, you don't want to just put people's information on your CV without their consent. Yeah, it's cyber security, it's cyber safe person. You also know without their consent. All right. You want to put available on request. If they need it, they would request for it. Also, you don't want to just put people's, you don't know, some, I don't have time to talk about job scam, but there's so many job scams online. There's so many people that they don't have any job, but they just put a job advert online, and you go and apply and submit your CV. And you're not going to put the phone number of and the contact details of one of the professors or somebody in very Akida, and they have the information and track person that are kidnapping. You see? And you are because of the kidnap, you don't know. Solomon, your question. And we call it today.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, sir. And thanks for the great lecture you've given to us. My question is on the work experience. And for some of us that are pivoting into cybersecurity, and you've shared your idea of what we should do in our previous work experience, and also try to do volunteering to put into action what we've learned in Cyber Safe Foundation, and also take a project. So the question I'm asking is that in cybersecurity, in this program we are running, there was a time that we had a project, and we were grouped into, we were all shared into groups, and a project topic was given to us. Somebody like me, I did malware analysis. Now, and also in my career path, penetration testing, there was a mock exam we did that we were given a virtual machine to attack, and which we did. And the whole process is a summary of what penetration testing is all about. Now, in this case, can we include that program we did, that project we did, and this mock exam we did as an experience in the cybersecurity industry?
I would say yes and no. All right. And I would say no because that project was the criteria of the training, right? So it's still under your training. It was something to help you practice what you're learning. All right. So, and if you write Cyber Safe Foundation and you write some of the skills there, under certification, when you write Cyber Safe Foundation and you write some of the skills you learned, you can also articulate some of the projects you've written. It would be best for you to have a project that you actually worked on independently of the cyber safe training. Does that make sense? All right, because
yes,
that's what we showed the recruiter, that you've actually practiced this thing in a real life scenario. All right, if you're working on a project under the cyber safe training, there was still some handholding there. There was still some don't do this, don't do that thing, principles there. There's still some handholding there. So it doesn't carry as much weight as the one where you do it independently in another organization. That does not mean you cannot still try it. Remember, I said there's no hard or fast rules to this. There's no a yes or no answer to these things. You could also try it, and if you want to try it, this is the way you articulate it. But the way you articulate it, let's say, give me the name of the project. Give me one name of the project, for instance.
PDF malware analysis.
That doesn't sound like a project, you see. That doesn't sound like a project, you see. You see what I mean? It doesn't sound like a project. A project could be something like an organization wants to revamp their security system, for instance, all right? And you know somebody who got that contract, and you say, no, guy, can I join you and do that project? Or can I support you in that project? You understand? So in your CV, you're going to write something like, network revamp of XYZ institution, right? And what was your role there and what you did? You know, that showed more distinct. But when you just say malware analysis, it doesn't really sound like a project. It still sounds like a learning process, if you get what I mean. Does that make sense, Solomon?
Yes,
right?
sir. Thank you.
So when we say project, look for if you're in cybersecurity space, you guys have WhatsApp group or you're in community, ask people what cybersecurity project are you working on? Can I support you? Can I support you on that? Don't be idle. Don't just stay in one place and say, I'm looking for a job. Put your brain to work. Only when you put your brain to work are you going to see the rain of opportunities. See? Only when you put your brain to work are you going to see the rain of opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, with these many points of mine, I hope I'm able to convince you and not confuse you on this lovely Saturday afternoon on the important ways to write a good CV. Let me know in the comment section if you found this helpful. I have shared my Instagram page. Andol, if you have any questions, just send a DM on Instagram. I'll give you a WhatsApp number. If you call, I will not pick. If you call on WhatsApp, it's not even ring. It's just for messages, all right? I may respond. I try to respond to messages there every Sunday evening, all right? So if you have a message, if you have the CV, you want me to just send a quick voice note and review it for you, you can also send it there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'll hand over now to DT of the Cyber Girls Fellowship.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Please, can we give a warm applause, warm round of applause to Mr. Daniel in the comment section. Thank you so much. I was just taking notes the entire time. I have some rewarding to do. Thank you so much, Daniel. You're always, giving us all of these amazing sessions whenever you get the chance. Thank you so much. All right, don't forget to follow Daniel. He's shared the details. Follow him on LinkedIn. And remember not to call him, please. The text message is giving you a channel to have communication with him. Don't abuse it. Don't abuse it, okay? This is how it starts. Don't abuse it. Daniel, what did you say?
It won't even ring if it. It's just
oh, it wouldn't even ring. Okay. All right then. Okay, I just want to encourage everyone here. Daniel has shared really amazing tips to help us, get started on making those, creating those power CVs, those CVs that get us actual interviews and help us get those jobs, our dream jobs. So please, if you have not created a CV that meets this standard that Mr. Daniel just spoke to us about, if your CV currently doesn't match the standard, please, I need you to reward it. From Monday, we will start requesting for your CVs for the vetting process ahead of the hiring summit. So please put yourselves together, rewrite that CV. Please avoid words like enthusiast. If you don't remember anything, remember that particular one. He went on and on about it. Please reward those CVs and turn that in, and we'll like to go through it. Please give a round of applause once again to Mr. Daniel. Thank you so much, Daniel, for taking time to be with us. All right, everyone, that will be all for today's session. The recording will be made available to all of us. Please ensure to watch it again, make those corrections, and